Hello and welcome again to the course, guys. Today we are going to do Git branches, which is one of the most important features of Git. So whenever I'm working with team or even with my friend, if I'm working on a project, I use Git branches all the time. So it's important to understand Git branches, very important. Also, if you have directly jumped to Git branches and if you don't know, we are doing a complete course on Git and GitHub. So if you haven't checked out the previous video, it was the basic. So you need that basics in order to understand Git branches. So if you haven't seen that video, if you haven't gone through that video, you should check them out. I will link them somewhere over here. But today we are going to do Git branches. And as my previous videos, I will be going through some context before directly jumping into the commands. Okay. So without any further delay, let's get started with Git branches. So I would want to give a little bit of context before Git branches. So suppose we have a really cool startup. Okay, we are having a startup and we have 3 employees. Let's say one is Rachel, one is Phoebe, and the other one is Joey. Okay, so these are our developers we have on our startup. And let's say Rachel is saying that I will be working on the cart page, which is going to be a checkout page, some form of. Okay, she'll be working on that. Phoebe is saying that I will be working on some recommendation feature where products will be recommended to our user. So these are again fictional things. And Joey is working on a bug. Okay, so there's a button and there is a click issue on that. So Joey is going to fix that. Now, we only have one Git repository, and how will everyone work on the same Git repository if they have these 3 tasks parallelly to do? Because normally in Git what we have seen, it's not possible to work in a team, because let's say we saw in the last let's say somebody did some commits and you don't have those commits, what would happen? So all these cases, in this case, we need a Git branch. Okay, so let's understand how the branches system work with a team. So what are Git branches? So Git branches are again very important part of Git. So consider these branches as the different timelines. So Rachel would be working on her own copy or a timeline. Phoebe would be working on her own timeline, Joey. So what they would do is basically they would branch out. They would have a different branch and then they will be working on that, because these Git branches enable us to work on different parts or multiple features or even the bugs parallelly, right? We can work on this without messing up our main code base, right? So we can try and test things out, and if things work, then we can merge to our main code. So even if that is not understanding, let's consider the example. Okay, suppose we have this one commit on our repository. So now what would happen? Let's say we want to work on some feature. So we would branch out like this, and then we would work on the features like this. And somebody else can work on this thing. They can have one more commit over here. Then I can say I want to branch out from here. I can do some work parallelly over here. So these are 3 different parallel timelines, you can assume. So these are 3 different timelines which we call as branches in Git. So as you can see, it is having a branch kind of structure. So we call it as a branch. Okay. And then let's say I did some work over here. These are commits. And then if I feel, okay, this thing is good to go, I have tried and test things out, this feature looks good to me, so then I can merge that back to this branch. So this branch would act as the official branch, let's suppose, and then after that it creates a commit over there after merging it. And then let's say for this also we are good with Simslice, so we can merge. So this is kind of a common workflow. If you see, we work on the something, and then if you want to try and test things out, we branch out from there, we work on that, and if things fine, then we merge it. Cool. Okay, now let's talk about a master branch or a main branch. Now in Git, we always work on a branch. If you have seen in the previous video, there was something like master which was appearing when we initialized a Git repository. So I'm going to show you that again. Okay, so over here I have created a my repo a folder which is named my repo. So currently if I do a git status on this, it won't work because we haven't initialized a Git repository. So in order to run all the Git commands, in order to use the features of Git, we need to initialize an empty repository over here. So let's go ahead and initialize an repository. So when I do git init, it will initialize an empty repository, and I was talking about this, the master branch. So by default, Git creates a branch for us to work on. Okay, so this default branch is called as master branch. Master branch is just like another branch, so which Git creates for us by default, and many organizations or companies have this master branch as their official branch for the code base. So let's have a look at common workflow again, just to get a better understanding of this thing. So suppose we have a master branch, which would be our main branch we created. It is created by Git by default, but let's also consider it as our official branch. Cool. So after that, Rachel was working on the cart page, so she can branch out and she can work on the cart page like this. So suppose she did some few work on that, and then somebody else on master branch did some work like this. And then let's say Joey started its own branch where he was fixing the bug. Okay, and then somebody else did some work on master branch, let's say. Now when the cart page is good to go, it can be merged. So let's merge that, and the code which Rachel wrote here would be having us on our official branch. Now let's say even Joey fixed it bug, it is working correctly, and then we can merge this over here like that. So this is the common workflow which you see. There would be a main branch, the official branch that we have, and then we branch out from that. We create new branches. Again, we'll be seeing how to create these new branches, how to merge and all this stuff. Just don't worry about that. Just look at the bigger picture that we are going. So there would be a main branch, and then we would be branching off from that. We would be creating new branches, and then we would be working on those separate timelines, and we would be testing things out, and we can do anything on that. It doesn't mess up our main branch, right? And if things seems fine, then we can finally merge it. Similarly for this bug fix, okay, this could be anything. If you want to even do some trying testing, you can make another branch and do your stuff, and if things work, you can merge it, and it won't affect your code unless and until you merge it. Okay, so lastly, before moving to the commands, we need to understand what a head is. So if you have worked with repository, if you have tried and tested things out right now, you would be seeing there's something called as head in the Git. So you would be wondering, what is this head? So we would be looking at like what is head and understanding what head is. Now this is important to understand Git branches. Like even if you don't understand, you can work it, but it's good to have this knowledge of head, like what it does, in order to understand things. Now in the next upcoming videos, we'll be also seeing how to revert back to the previous version, make some changes, and at that point of time you would need the understanding of head in order to understand how Git is working under the hood. Okay, so let's understand what a head is. So head, you can consider it as a simple pointer or a place that is referring to your current position in the Git repository. So as we have seen, we have multiple branches, multiple things. So this head will tell us where you are currently at. Okay, now we have just created, we have worked in the previous video just on the master branch till now. So head is pointing to the latest commits on that, but soon we'll be creating multiple branches, and when we create these branches, we will be seeing that this head moves accordingly. Okay, now I'm gonna take a simple example right now. So suppose we were on the master branch, like as we assumed. Let's say the head would be on that by default. Okay, now when we make some commits, this head would move to the latest commit. Let's say we also made third commit, it will move there. We made fourth commit, it will move there. We made fifth commit, the head will move to the latest commit. So let's see this in example. Okay, so over here I've created an empty repository which I was showing you to show this master. So if I run a git status command over here, it will show me on what branch I am. So it is saying me on branch master. So this is the branch which Git creates by default for us to work on. Okay, so I'm going to show you how this head works. Okay, so let me create a new file over here. Let's do test or yeah, test.txt, and let's say I write something over here. Hello friends, let's understand head. Okay, so I'm going to save this file. Now if I take a look at git status, it would be telling us that this test.txt is in our working directory, which is untracked. So let's add that, git add test.txt, and we can just do a commit, added test file, like that. So we have this commit. So we made a one commit. Now I'm going to do a git log one line to see. Now you can see this head always points to a branch. So this master branch. So head is a pointer which points to a branch and to the latest commit, right? So we have just one commit over here, so it is pointing to that commit, edit test file. Let's make another commit. Okay, so I'm gonna just clear one thing over here. Let's add something more. I'm just running out of ideas, so I'm just doing something more. So suppose we added something else, and git add. So git add dot will add everything if I haven't mentioned that. So everything in your, if you have multiple files, it will add all the files. It is a shorthand. So I can do a git commit again, -m. Let's do second commit. Oh god. Okay, now if I do a git log one line, now the head is pointing to the second commit. So it is, this head always points to the latest commits on one branch. Okay, and this head is pointing towards master. Let's consider one more commit as well. So we can do something like third commit. So I can do again git add everything, and then I can do git commit -m third commit. And if I take a look at log, now our head is pointing to the third commit. So let's understand how this head is going to work for us with branches. How is this head going to help? So as we saw, let's have this master branch. So we had this head on the master branch which points to the latest commit. Okay, so on this master, let's say Rachel did some work on her own branch. So let's say she did some 2 commits on her cart page branch. This is another branch that she created. Our head is currently on master. Now if I want to look what work she did on this branch, I will have to move my head to this, which is the position in my repository. So I would move this head over there, and then I can see what work she has done. Now let's say I want to add my own things to her branch. So I will make some commits over there, and my head will move to the latest commit over there. Now let's say I want to move back to master. I can bring by my head to the master, and let's say I want to do some work on master. So I did some work on master, and head will update over there. Awesome. Now Joey was working on the bug fix, so he also did some things on his branch. Now I want to check his branch. I can move my head over there, and I can see what work he has done. And let's say I made a commit, and head will move to the latest commit. Now let's say again I want to move back to master. I can move my head to the master, and I'm there. Now let's say I did some work over there, and this head will be pointing to the latest commit. Now let's say I want to move to cart page again. Okay, I want to visit that code. I can go over there, I can see, and I think it's good time to merge now. So I can merge it, and my head will be updated to the latest commit over here. Similarly for the bug fix, let's go to the bug fix branch. So I moved my head over there. Now it's time to merge. So I merged it, and my head will be updated on that. So this is how we are going to work, right? This is the head position, is our position in the repository. Cool. That was actually about it. This head is basically a pointer in the Git. It shows us where we are currently at. So guys, let's consider an example to understand Git branches, how to create branches, how to work with branches. So let's suppose we are going for a night over at somebody's place. Let's say at my place we're having a night over, and let's say we want to watch something, right? We are deciding what should we watch today. So first of all, I am using VS Code to do this, and as you have seen, I was using the terminal or the command prompt or WSL I was using. I can use same that thing over here in the new terminal. I can just I will be using this VS Code's inbuilt terminal just for simplicity purpose, so that I just don't have to move from terminal to VS Code and vice versa. But you can, it's your own choice. You can work with anything. You can work with terminal differently, or you can work with VS Code's inbuilt terminal. It's one and the same, right? So I'll be using this for this example. Now let's over here, this is the, I've created a night over repository. I haven't initialized the repository, so if I take a look at git status, it will say me that no git repository found. So let's initialize a repository over here, git init, and it has initialized. So as you see, it creates a master branch for us. Cool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new file. I can say options to watch dot markdown. So we'll be working with the markdown file. Now if I take a look at git status, I'll see a option to watch markdown file has been created. Cool. Wow, I cannot spell clear. Cool. So let's create a boilerplate. So let's do what to watch. Okay, now this is a markdown file. If you don't know what it is, I can just show you a replicate. Okay, so if you write something like this, there is a syntax, so then it will appear over nicely. If you have seen GitHub, the readme of that, it is created using markdown. Yeah, so we'll see how to do that. You can watch along and see. So let's say we are saying what to watch. Okay, so let's create a template for that first of all. So we have a couple of options to watch. We can either watch a series, we can either watch a movie, or we can either watch a TV show, or we can watch some horror movie or series, right? So this is our basic template, so we can watch something from this. So on our night over, we can either watch a series, a movie, or a TV show, or a horror movie or series with our friend. Okay, so I'm gonna save this file and I'm gonna add a commit. So I'm gonna do git add options to watch and markdown, and I'll be committing that. I will be say this is an initial commit. All right, I made one commit, and I can take a look at git log -- one line. I can see I've made one commit and the head is pointing to master, to the latest commit. So how do I see how many branches are there in my repository? So this git branch command shows us all the branch that we have in our repository. So if I run git branch over here, if I can spell that properly, git branch, it will show me the number of branches. So currently I just have a master branch, and this star denotes the branch we are currently on. So we are currently on the master branch and we just have one branch. So let's create some branches so we can see how to create a branch. How to create a new branch. So the git branch and a branch name, very simple command. So this commands make a new branch based upon your current head position. So wherever your head position is, it makes a new branch from there. So it matters where you create branch from. Okay, so suppose my this is the master, I have the commit over here, and let's say I create a new branch called as fix button. So it will create my branch from the new head position, the head, from where the head is. So let's create a new branch with the git branch command. So what I can do is git branch, and I'm gonna name this branch of my name, git branch Sahil. So a new branch has been created. So if I run the git branch command, it will list me the number of branches. So I have a master branch and one more branch that I have created, Sahil, which is created from the current head position. Okay, now let's say I want to switch to this Sahil. I want to work on this branch, and what I will be doing is I will be switching to that branch and I will be filling some things over here. So how do we switch a branch? So git switch and the branch name, and it will update our head to the specified branch name, as simple as that. So we were on, so consider this example, we had this two commits and we are on the fix. We created a fix button branch and the master branch is over here and the head is over here. So our head was on the master branch, right? And with git switch branch name, our head will be switched to this branch, and now we can work on this branch and we can do our own work. Okay, so git switch and the branch name. So I can do something like git switch and the name of the branch, which is Sahil. Now I can see I've switched to the branch Sahil. Over here in WSL it shows me what branch I am, so I'm on the Sahil branch. Even if I take a look at git branch, it will show me that I am currently on the branch Sahil. Okay, so now I'm gonna work on this branch for a while. So I will be adding for the series, let's say I want to watch Lucifer, and for a movie, let's say I'll watch Sher Shah, which is a new movie. And for TV show, I will be watching How I Met Your Mother. Okay, so let's say for horror movie or series, I'll be watching Inside Out. Okay, so I have filled this thing for myself. Now what I can do is I can do a git add everything, and I will do a commit added my stuff. Okay, so I've added this stuff and I have this thing over here. Now this is just only on Sahil branch. Okay, this is just only on my branch. Now if I switch back to master, so if I do git switch master, you won't be seeing all these things. I'll show you. Git switch master does not has all these changes. Okay, so master does not has. Now if I move to git switch, if I switch back again to Sahil, I can have this back. Okay, how cool is that? Awesome. Now let's make one more commit. Okay, let's say I also want to watch in series. I can watch Breaking Bad, which is a good series. For movie, let's say I can watch Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm gonna watch that. And for TV shows, let's say I can watch Friends. And for a horror movie or a series, let's write a series over here, A Stranger. So it's not horror as such, but yeah, sci-fi would do the job. So I've added some more things over here in my things to watch. So I can do git add and I can do a commit. So added more movies in my stuff, in my branch, let's say branch. Cool, awesome. So now if I move to master, it won't have anything. Now let's create another branch from master. So we can do git branch, let's say Akash. He's one of my friend. He's gonna come for the movie. Now he will be listing his, so I'm creating his own branch. Now I can take a look at branch. Now I've created 3 branches. So currently on the master branch, now I have 3 branches, Sahil, Akash. So let's work on this Akash branch and let's do a git switch. Now there are a couple of ways to switch. So git switch I've shown you, but there's also a command called git checkout and the branch name. So it does the same job, git checkout and the name of the branch. It will switch me to that branch. Now I'm working on this Akash branch. Now let's say for series, so now let's say Akash wants to watch Money Heist for the series. For movie, he says I'll watch let's say Hangover, and for TV shows he will see 2.5 Men. Okay, that's what TV show. And for a horror movie, he is saying he'll watch Inside Out. Okay, so these are his recommendations. Now if I save, I can do a commit on that. So git add dot git commit -m added Akash likings. I don't know. Okay, so now this thing has been added for Akash. Now I can do a git switch master. So master doesn't have anything. If I switch to Sahil, he has his own stuff. So he's added two things in his thing, so he can watch this thing. Now if I can switch to Akash branch, he has these 3 things. Okay, and I can work on any of these things. So he says he'll watch this shows and I will be watching. So each of branch has different things and the master has the main thing. Now this is how you work with branches. You create new branches, you switch to that branches, you work, you make commits, and then you can merge it. So merging is what we'll see in the next video. I don't want to stretch this video a lot, so we will be looking on merging in the next video. Guys, that was it for today for the Git branches. We still have to look how do we merge those branches. So we have seen how to create branch, we have seen how to work with branch, we have seen how to switch, what is head, and how these branches work. And in the next video we'll be seeing how to merge these branches into a branch. Okay, so thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any doubts, please leave them in the comment section and I'll reach out to you over there. Other than that, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.